who's going to share with us is Alison Aranda. I met Alison, and this is why she's so important to have. If you are going to go out into the public square, your school or your community, you need to have somebody in mind for your legal work. To answer your questions at the very least, I met Alison at a Mother's Day event. Mother's Day event doesn't get any nicer than this. We hand out flowers. I have my little kids dressed in suits or pretty dresses, or my granddaughters dressed in pretty dresses. We hand out flowers, say Happy Mother's Day, give them cards. It's a really nice event. Alison came to our very first event. She introduces herself. A few minutes later, I was arrested for the first time that day. About another half an hour after that, I was arrested the second time. They shouldn't have let me go the first time. They arrested me a second time and hauled me away. She represented me in trial after that, and then won a civil suit against the city. But you need a legal backup, and here with one of the best is Alison Aranda.
I work for the Life Legal Defense Foundation, and what the Life Legal Defense Foundation does is they are a nonprofit legal organization that networks with attorneys all over the country. So if you are here from the East Coast, the Midwest, the South, we have attorneys all across the country that we can put you in contact with if you run into trouble, and you will run into trouble. I was working for a different organization a few years ago down in San Diego when a lady who worked in the office with me came to me and said, there's this group called Survivors, and they got arrested for standing on a public college campus that's open to everyone and simply handing out literature. Do you think you can look at their case and represent them? And I said, are you serious? How do you get arrested for standing on a public college campus handing out a piece of literature? That's not illegal. And that began my relationship with Survivors. We just won that case and settled the lawsuit for a substantial amount of money just a couple of months ago. And so I say that because that case began a few years ago. The justice is not often quick in this line of work. It takes a persevering person to stand up for what is right, even if it takes a long time. Depositions and mediation and going to court, but this organization, along with many of the other organizations that are represented here, are willing to do what it takes to stand for what is true and what is right. Jeff mentioned that that was a college campus that happened on, and yes, the one incident where I met Jeff, it was shortly after this case came up, and I said, I've got to see who these survivors are. I've got to meet them. And so I went down to the clinic on Mother's Day to introduce myself and see what they were all about. And my husband jokingly says, you're not going to get arrested, are you? I said, that doesn't happen. That happened in Operation Rescue. People don't get arrested for this kind of thing standing on the public sidewalk. The public sidewalk. Not a campus, but the actual public sidewalk. And so I laughed, and when I pulled up that morning to meet them, the police were already there. And I thought, this is crazy. So I get out, and I find out that the police were wanting to arrest them because they weren't holding their signs in the air. They had them resting on the sidewalk. And they wanted to arrest them because they were drawing Happy Mother's Day flowers in chalk that washes away on the public sidewalk. Kids play hopscotch all day long in my neighborhood on the public sidewalk, and nobody gets arrested for graffiti. But if you are chalking a pro-life message on a public sidewalk, they were wanting to arrest these individuals for that. And that just blew my mind. It opened my mind to an entirely different world where these people who are standing for life, who are risking arrest, need to be defended in the courts. And I come from a history of being a prosecutor. I used to put these people in jail who violated laws. And I clearly understood that what these innocent, peaceful, pro-life individuals were doing was not against the law, and they needed a defense. And that is what brought me to the Life Legal Defense Foundation. And you will encounter those same hurdles when you go back to your hometowns and go back to your campuses and try to start a campus group, as we heard from yesterday. You will encounter obstacles because when the truth is revealed, hearts are turned, and people don't want that truth in the public square. That is the majority of what the survivors come up against, is administrators and police officers who don't want the truth revealed. And they will do whatever it takes to stomp out the light. If that means putting you in a police car, if that means taking your signs and literature just to release you an hour later, that's what they will do so that your message does not get out into the community. And I encourage all of you to take a stand. Don't be intimidated by people in authority that you may feel you need to submit to. You can be polite, you can be respectful, but I encourage you to stand for what is right and what is true. And we're not going to be taking questions after this. We've run a little bit long. So I would encourage all of you, everybody who has been on this panel has a booth out in the other room, to go up and introduce yourselves to us. I have some business cards in there that everybody is welcome to take. The Life Legal Defense Foundation is on Facebook. You can like us. You can friend me. If you have any legal questions, you can contact our organization, and we will research the particular issue that you may have questions about. Thank you.